very good morning to everyone. We are group number 2, which is composed by 2 people, and we are Josefa Bello and Elizabeth Cabrera. During this presentation, we are going to cover a research article stated by Elio Jesus Cruz Rondon and Lady Fernanda Velasco Vera. This investigation took place in a public university of Colombia, and it is a case study based on understanding the role of teaching materials in a beginner's level English as a foreign language course, in which the researchers look for what is the importance of the educational materials and their role in the process of teaching English as a foreign language. So the researchers focused their attention on the teaching materials implemented in an EFR classroom in order to understand how these materials were used and how students reacted towards their implementation in the teaching and learning process. So this case study was carried out in a beginner's level English course in a bachelor in Colombia. The main purpose of this study was to understand the role of teaching materials in an EFR classroom and also to identify the students' reactions towards their implementation. Let's say to verify, decide what is the reaction or response, or rather the transformation that these materials produce in the students who were participating in this research study. This case study expected to answer 3 specific questions during the course of this investigation, and those questions are: what are the teaching materials implemented in a beginner's EFR classroom? How are the teaching materials implemented? And how do beginner level students of English react towards the implementation of these teaching materials? Or let's say, what is their reaction? What does this material cost in the students? What had changed after their implementation? This case study was carried out after observing that in Colombia, the main material to be used during the teaching process with EFR students is occasionally the course book, even though there are some other materials which can be useful for teaching English in non-speaking countries. So what the researchers looked for with this investigation is basically to see if there is any positive change in students after implementing some other materials besides of the course book, which is the more usually used in EFR classroom.
So now we're going to talk about the methodological framework, and we're going to cover type of investigation, research method, investigation techniques, population sample, and procedures.
The type of investigation, as Elizabeth mentioned earlier, is case study, which is an intensive study about a person or a group of people. The research method implemented in this investigation was qualitative research. It helped the exploration of a phenomenon within some particular context through various data sources.
Let's see the techniques. We have observation, audiovisual material, interview, documents, and reports.
The participants consisted of 21 students, 10 girls and 11 boys. This was the experimental group, and they also had 5 non-experimental groups, control groups.
Now,
in this story, participants took 4 lessons a week. Each lesson lasted 2 hours. It was held in an ordinary classroom or laboratory. The laboratory was equipped with interactive whiteboard, speakers, and 30 personal computers.
At the beginning of the semester, students were given 3 books and a list of activities to be completed. They have doing a role play, creating a newspaper, creating a song, creating a horoscope, making comic strip.
The first activity that was observed was the role play. First, students needed to read the selected book. Then, write in group of 4 or 5, write on a script, and finally present the role play to the class. Writing a song. The second activity that was observed was writing a song. First, the students needed to read the selected book. After, in group of 4 or 5, they had to write a song based on 3 characters of the reading. Finally, presented to the group. Listening quiz. Every Wednesday, students took a listening quiz. First, they listened to a specific audio from the Global Elementary course book. Then, they listed unknown words. After taking the quiz, the teacher show or present the questions so students can see and compare the answers. The course book used in this study was Elementary Global Course Book, and it consisted in 10 units divided in 7 sessions. Along with the course book, the teacher always used Edmodo to assign the homework to the students and post videos and many other activities, as well as some web pages to make the classes more interactive.
Where this case study concluded by recognizing the importance and the relevant role of teaching materials in EFR classrooms. During the implementation of this case study, there were used several teaching materials such as printing material, like reading books, and the course book, and several online materials like Edmodo platform, online pages, the English adapted package, the audio CD, and so on. So by the end of this case study, the author revealed that teaching materials played an essential role in EFR teaching and learning, of course. And the author also highlighted that the implementation of online resources, such as Edmodo and some web pages, that it was appropriate strategy to complement the traditional course book. It was an appropriate strategy to help the teacher with the teaching process. And they also found that the reading books provided students with several opportunities to integrate the 4 skills, meaning that following a 4-phase process, students employed more than one key skill in each activity. In addition, this study case conclusion presented that reading books cultivate students' oral and written production and vocabulary acquisition for communicative purposes, providing EFR learners with a variety of activities and opportunities to integrate the 4 linguistic skills, which is essential to spark their interest in learning and in learning the target language in order to communicate. Thank you so much for your attention.